Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Australian FX crosses, and starting with the Australian US dollar here. And we'd been looking from wave 3 up to wave 4 here, and we were looking at an A wave, sharp B wave, and we're looking for 5 waves in the C wave. Now we've got wave 1 and likely wave A, B and C here. So I think that we could pretty much put this wave 2 into play here and looking for wave 3 to the upside. We are expecting US dollar to get stronger, but we'll just stay with this count here. And while this market's above 73, we need to stay with this particular count to the upside here. So let's just do that on the 15-minute chart here. Just drilling in here a little bit. So, okay, get our bearings. So we've got wave 1 here, an A and a B, and a bit of a rough C here, but all quite good in that regard. And it does look rather impulsive to the upside here. So we can look at this, if I could just drill in on this bit here, we could look at this here as up for 1 and back for 2. So we can look at this in terms of a 50-60% sort of retracement area here, and yeah, somewhere in this vicinity here. So basically one way or another, some sort of A, B and C here. So that's why I've got that sort of possible long trade, because this is if this is the top here, then any move up through here would be a sign of strength at that point. I mean, obviously you could get in early if you wanted to, but anyway, and just keep the stop out of the way, you know, down into wave 2 sort of area through here. And yeah, but I would certainly, the safest bet is that once you've got this ABC here, there'll be a move up here, there'll be another little reaction here, so to speak. So you really want to get on this support here, so you'll be able to bring that lower through here in due course here, and that's the general idea, getting a better price all the time, but at the same time keeping within, you know, swim between the flags, so to speak. And yeah, so that's that. The let's go to the pound Aussie here for a second before I go to the Euro Aussie. So just on the daily chart here, we're looking at a corrective pattern at the 21 here, and the 38.2 retracement level is actually lower here, so it's down at this point here. Okay, so it's possible that the move down here is just the A wave, a B wave up here, and a C wave down through to here. So that's on my mind. It's also possible that wave 4 is already completed in here. So we're going to have to understand what makes what and when it changes and so forth. So just coming in on the 2-hour chart here. So as I just mentioned, it's possible to have wave 4 here, but it's also possible to see wave 4 further over here and having this here, all this is the A wave here. So it would be the A wave here, the B wave here, and a C wave here down further. Now I won't go there just yet unless we get a breach of this particular number here. Okay, so at this stage we're aware of that, so that's all good, so to speak. But just be mindful, if we get a breach of this level here, then we'll need to look at that. And in fact, what I'll do is I'll just put that here just to remind us. So this move up here in this instance does appear to be a 5-wave structure. So I was looking at an A and a B and a C here, and we can look at this C wave in a minute to finish off here. But when I look at the Euro, not the Pound Aussie, but the Euro Aussie, this move up here counts quite nicely as a wave B. So we just got to get past this sort of junction here, and you know, there's a couple of ways to do it. Obviously we've got, this is 2.1, and then we've got 1, 2, and 3 here. So this is group 1 here. So if that becomes, this is sort of on the outset, if that becomes the support, then you know that you can look to build into a third wave at that stage through here. Just on the 15-minute chart, I mean, if this is the A wave here, then an A and a B and a C wave here, then it's a little bit short for a C wave in terms of this A wave here. But this is where we've got to be a little bit careful, because this is where we can have this as down for 1, back for 2 here, down for 3, 4, and 5 here. Okay, so it's really important that we get, you know, the market gets sort of back above these highs here to prove otherwise, because it can still be 5. If we go in this and count 5 waves down for the C wave here, it just may be wave 1 of the third wave here, and we would just come back as a small A, B, C here, and then down again through here. So in fact, we've got ourselves a short trade occurring here. So yeah, a little bit of a tricky one here, and I don't really have any sort of answers as such yet, but I'll just save that to remind us, and have a look at the 15-minute chart, or maybe even the 5-minute chart once this finishes saving. There we go. So, you know, with this move down through here, it appears that well, we've got wave 1 and 2 here, and well, this is still, even the third wave here, it's not even completed yet. So probably even from there, which would leave us about right here. So that would even, I mean, if that's wave 1 and 2 here, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that would just be the third wave to this point. There'd still be a fourth and a fifth here to get the C wave in here completed here. So yeah, getting back to it again here, I guess, is that this has still got to complete here in one way or another. So I guess if the market came back up, you know, this high through here, maybe even here, you could start to consider being bullish at that stage here. But yeah, anything under here can be subject to further downside here. So just need to be a bit careful there. The Euro Aussie, see, with this market here as being a wave 4 as well, I mean, it's quite suitable as an A and a B and a C here, not a problem as wave 4. It's taken the top out here a little bit, still doesn't matter, it still can be a B wave, and it can count quite nicely as an A wave and a B wave, and then 5 waves here for a C wave here for this B wave. So it is possible for this to, you know, to be lower down through here, okay? But I've counted in a bullish pattern so far, and I'll stay with it as long as the 1.5 is going to stay as the support. But if this moves through here, you know, in a reasonable way, get a nice closing on below here, then we need to look at this being, excuse me, being 5 waves down here. As it stands, at the moment, I've got it as wave 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here, and an A and a B and a C wave here. So that's all fine, but we need to take this high out through here before looking for any sort of long trade there. And of course, taking out this top here, that would also confirm that this is an ABC correction, okay? So that's the critical one. You could work with that. but this has got a 50-50 chance of actually completing this move down here in 5 waves as a larger A wave, B wave and C wave here. And in fact, we should just copy this wave 4 over here and just save that there for the time being. So yeah, you know, and we're expecting a stronger US dollar. Now, I just wanted to have a quick look at this is the US1 situation that's occurring, and it's in positive light with their sort of devaluation as such, but it's, you know, it was already in play. I mean, I had to find another chart to get this on because I don't have all the information on this chart, but this is wave 2 here. So we've already got wave 1 into play, and then we've got wave 1 here of the next degree. This is a daily chart, I beg your pardon. So I don't have that written on there, but this is a daily chart of US 1 and China. So we've got wave 2 here already. And then, so we're basically in wave 3 coming up here. And in that we've got wave 1 and wave 2 here, a bit tricky to see. Strong third here. This 6.5 is a medium level. So we're going to see the wave 4 correct across that. And then we're going to see this market push to the upside. So, yeah, I mean, it's sort of important in certain ways, I guess, and we'll just keep a bit of an eye on it. Such it's a little bit thin on the ground in terms of volume to get too wrapped up in it, but it's certainly bullish. There's no doubt about that. It's strengthening. The other market that I wanted to just keep an eye on now and again, and I haven't fully worked this one out yet. I need to have more data, and I also need to understand a bit more how they're related to whatnot. But this is Bitcoin here, and it's against the US dollar, and that's where it is at the moment. And but I don't have any more chart than what I've got here, but I know that this has been up to 1,000, and well, I'm not even sure if that what's that pinned against, or pegged to rather. But anyway, I'll look at it a little bit further, and we'll slowly sort of track the Bitcoin thing, because I think it's kind of interesting, really, as a new currency. I mean, if everybody gave back US dollars, it would pretty much sort of devalue the US dollar, and they'd probably have to revert back to the gold standard. But the Bitcoin is something that could also come into play too, instead of the gold standard. Right, okay, one more chart, and that's going to be the New Zealand US dollar here that we've been looking at. And, you know, as I've mentioned before, these wave 4s here can get a bit tricky as such, and we need to be sort of careful when we're sort of playing around with them. But as it stands at the moment, we've got this down for wave 1, an A and a B and a C for wave 2, and then looking down for wave 1 again, which is here, and wave 2 is in here. So we're looking for an A and a B and a C correction here, and then we're looking down from here. Now, it's also possible to have a wave 4 up here, as I've mentioned before, in terms of having this as an A wave to here, a B wave to here, then up for 1, back for 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's possible. It's also possible to have this wave 4 as a sort of triangle pattern that's sort of bouncing along a little bit, coming into this sort of area here. But I won't complicate that situation. I don't think it needs to be complicated at this stage. But this does interest me here, this little bit here. So on the 15-minute chart, I just want to drill in here. And we went over this yesterday or the day before or whatever. So just considering this wave 2 here, and we'd counted 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 down here, and yesterday or whatever we were looking for an A wave and a B wave and a C wave in 5 waves up into this sort of box area here, and that's playing out quite nicely. We can obviously sort of shift that across there a little bit and bring these across here. We can investigate this situation as well. You don't need these here. So, you know, this wave C here, this should be in 5 waves coming up through here. And it's either completed or it's got one more little move here. So in a way, you know, if you see weakness coming into play with these with this market, then you know, then obviously you can sort of look to short here, but you need it to break down. And in a nutshell, the market moving down through the top of wave 1 here would be considered a breakdown here. So I've got this at the 65.50 level here, which the 65 is pretty important to me. So if that becomes the retested resistance, then you can trade short from that side here, okay? If you just have a look on the 5-minute chart, see if we can pull this apart a little bit here. Still maybe. So we've got, just bear with me, my rough thing here. We've got wave, we'll call that wave 1 and wave 2 here. Then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 here. So all of that is the next wave 1 here and wave 2 here. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So all that's the third wave here. So there's still more upside here. It still wants to go up higher. So here, that's the 4th wave. So that can pull back to, this can pull back to this level here, or the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree in that little space here. And then wave 5. That still gives us only 1, 2, it still gives us to here, doesn't it? It's still quite, and there should be another one from that point, 4, 5. So yeah, look, it's still climbing, and at an estimate, we'd want to be up at this 66 here. So if I come back to the 15-minute chart here, so it's possible, looking at all of this, for this to move into 66, which is actually the 61.8 retracement level. So that's also a bit helpful, isn't it? So we pop that on top there, and we'll pop this one on top here as well, because that's kind of where we think the wave count can come to. So there's still more to be had here on this. So, and come back onto this trend line, and then one more to here, and then down from that point. So we'd still need to work out things here, but of actually entry set up and so forth. But we're sort of on the right track here. Okay. Still a bit more to go. But anyway, if it moves under this number here, then you know that you need to be looking at short positions. It'll be bouncy at that stage, but yeah, otherwise we're just going to climb a little bit higher here. All right, that's it. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.